Marvel's movie involved some of the most important characters in Marvel Universe. So congratulations to Bob Iger and to all those who are signing up for and who are rooting for diversity, inclusion, and equality. Congratulations. I didn't even, you know, groom myself for this video. Why? Because the sooner I do it, the better. I ask you to share your comments in this video telling me that am I right or am I wrong? Hello everyone and welcome to a very important video. I just woke up this morning and I read a tweet that was written by one of the correspondents of Washington Post. He was invited to watch the Marvels. The tweet that he shared, or the post as we now call it since Twitter is now X, simply blew my mind away. This film is so much fun and exactly what a comic book movie should be. So basically he's talking as if he is an authority on a comic book movie. The other part of this quote is now going to just it blew my mind away. Certainly it's funny, it's silly, short and sweet, action packed. A year ago I had produced a video entitled The Looming Downfall of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I had made some predictions that if the trajectory which Marvel Studios led by Kevin Feige is being maintained, we might be seeing something really bad happening for the Marvel Studios, for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. One of the things was that the content that is being dished out, it's not relatable. It doesn't resonate with the comic book fans, with the fans who love superheroes from the source material. Now, a lot of people are going to be saying that, okay, the majority are mostly those who grew up watching Marvel Cinematic Universe when it started back in 2008 with Iron Man and so forth. I cannot deny the existence of that segment, but to imply that they are the majority, while people like myself who grew up reading comic books and people who are younger than me who again read comics more than they watch the movies, when we see something happening that is directly in contradiction, that comes into conflict with the established premise of our favorite superheroes, we are going to be speaking out. And frankly speaking, who gave this guy the right to say that a comic book movie should be funny, silly, short and sweet, action packed? Has this guy ever picked up a comic book that was written by Chris Claremont in which he wrote a story for Carol Danvers? Has this guy ever read a story that was written by Roger Stern that involved Monica Rambeau, who was known as Captain Marvel before she was called Photon? Has he read any comic book that's written by G. Willow Wilson for Miss Marvel Kamala Khan? I'm surprised. I mean, what in the world are these guys thinking? And the worst part about it is that his tweet is being retweeted by the official account of Marvel Studios on X. So it shows that clearly this is the kind of content Marvel Studios still wants to dish out to people like us. And then they are worrying about the fact that the pre-sales of the tickets, the sales of the tickets in advance, are not up to the same level as previous movies or previous blockbusters. How can you expect that to happen? If I have to buy a ticket, I need to be entertained the way I want to be entertained. I cannot pay a ticket just so that I get to watch a movie that makes my blood boil. I remember once I was invited to the premiere of Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. And believe me, when I sat there, the moment the story started to unravel, I realized that this is one of the worst movies that has been ever written. And throughout that time, I was sitting in disgust, in anger, because having read the stories that were written by notable writers from that era about Venom, about Spider-Man, I just couldn't imagine. And Carnage Has anyone forgotten Maximum Carnage? You just wonder in amazement, basically. I don't know if I've used two same terms in a single sentence. Right now, I just can't even believe myself when I'm talking. This post is right in front of me, and I still can't, fathom the fact that a guy is being given, his message is being amplified. And he's not the only one. There are others as well. One of the team members of Screen Rant, she also came out in praising the movie. If I see this post and I see another post coming in that is roughly around the same lines, then really I have serious question marks. Marvel's movie involved some of the most important characters in Marvel Universe. And I'm not going to be saying that Kamala Khan is one of them, because Kamala Khan is the product of this diversity, inclusion, equality, whatever this initiative has basically plagued the entire Western media in the last 10 years. I say that as a person who himself is a brown-skinned guy, and I am a Muslim. I should be the one rooting for Kamala Khan, but I know for a fact that characters, it's not their identity that matters. We don't read a particular character because of their skin color, their ethnicity, their religion, or their orientation or anything. We need to see the proper values, the proper superheroic values that were established first and foremost with the greatest icon, Superman, and then it multiplied, and then the Marvel Age of Comics came in and then revolutionized the entire concept of superheroism. It doesn't make me happy to see that we might be coming across news that Marvel Studios is now sold off to somebody else, and next thing you know, after a few years' time, it just closed down. Yes, everything in this world must come to an end. That's the sad reality. That's the concept of entropy on which our universe is based. But even if it comes to an end, it has to be a dignified end, not basically that you are showing complete disregard for people like me who represent an older generation, people like others who are the younger generation of comic book readers who are reading the Marvel Age of Comics, who are reading the DC comics, the ones that represent the golden and the silver age and the bronze age. And when they see this stuff being carried out, already the world is entering a deeper recession. Slowly they are acknowledging it on the world media. But what does recession mean? That there aren't enough buyers out there for goods and services. There aren't enough buyers because of their hard economic situations. How can you expect a person to pay $10, $20 for a movie ticket and to watch something which is completely garbage? Many of you might be asking me, okay, since you haven't watched the Marvel's movie, why are you criticizing it? Fair point. But the reason I'm doing that is when I read these posts, in which it is being acknowledged that this film is funny, silly, short, and sweet. What are you watching, Powerpuff Girls? If I read this, do you think that I would be inclined to watch the Marvel's movie? Tell me. I ask you to share your comments in this video telling me that am I right or am I wrong just for this particular post. And it's not just this one post. I read many others. I read many other posts that have been reshared by Marvel Studios as a badge of honor, if you will, that okay, the Marvels is doing really great. Just look at the launch party of the Marvels. I couldn't see even Iman Vellani or Brie Larson. I have been critical of the superhero movie genre. My thoughts are that the template for the best superhero movie was given to the world by Christopher Nolan with his Dark Knight trilogy. A lot of people criticize my point of view by saying that no, the movie genre has to be entertaining, it has to appeal to masses and everything. And you need a little bit of humor and you need a little bit of corny altercations and stuff like that. My question is that how did a movie like Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins, The Dark Knight trilogy, these movies came out when people were already discounting superhero movies despite the success of X-Men, Bryan Singer's X-Men, despite the success of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. The critics, the Hollywood elite, the media individuals, all of them were simply criticizing the fact that superhero genre, it's just too much, and this movie may not fare well. Next thing you know, Batman Begins comes out and gives a very good performance. Not the best, but perfectly acceptable. Because this movie was setting the tone, not just for Batman, but how superhero storytelling needs to be. Then comes The Dark Knight, and it became the first superhero movie at that time to break the $1 billion mark of earnings. We really need to ask ourselves, has the Marvel approach been beneficial for superhero fans like us, old and young? We need to ask ourselves this serious question. And again, there will be a lot of cheerleaders. Many of you might have skipped already. But for those of you who are still watching me talk, I didn't even, groom myself for this video. Why? Because I just felt that I had to lash it out immediately. The sooner I do it, the better. Because now this thing has become beyond tolerable. Marvel has been guilty, and now with what James Gunn has done in Blue Beetle, unnecessary comedic puns, trying to introduce so much silliness into a movie that it becomes a movie for 10-year-olds. And Taika Waititi, what he has done with Thor. I kept on saying what they were doing in Avengers Age of Ultron, what they did in Civil War Captain America, what they did in Captain Marvel, the first movie, the gender swapping. These things are simply not acceptable at all. What we saw Nick Fury doing in Secret Invasion, he was looking more like a Bollywood megastar savior rather than the Nick Fury, the spy master of the Marvel Universe. People just don't realize what Secret Invasion, the crossover, comic book crossover event, how impactful it was. How much did it shake us from within? And then we have the Marvels. The height of desperation to promote Marvels can be seen by the fact that the final trailer, when it gets published on YouTube, when it's broadcasted during Monday Night Football, the first 30 seconds of that movie are taken from Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. First 30 seconds. Instead of showing the main cast, they rather ended up showing Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans and Josh Brolin, because you have to count Thanos as well. And when we proceed forward, the post-credit scene, they actually laid it out. And they were thinking that maybe showing Valkyrie is going to make people go crazy. That's like the biggest load of crap I've ever heard. Even if they didn't show Valkyrie, she would have come in this movie. Anyone who's watching Marvel Cinematic Universe production, anyone who has read Marvel comics, knows for a fact that Marvel characters are interconnected and they make appearances in each other's comic books. So the same thing we have been seeing in the movies as well. To basically, kill the suspense, just so that people are inclined to buy the tickets, so that they can come to not watch the movie, but to watch the mid-credit and the post-credit scene in which the X-Men are going to be introduced. This is a new low. This is the ultimate sign of desperation, which Marvel Studios has shown. And congratulations to Disney, because while you are celebrating 100 years of existence, celebrating the works the idea, the vision of a great visionary. I'm not talking about his personality, but as a visionary, a great visionary, Walt Disney. You are finishing off his legacy with your sick content strategy that has completely destroyed all the characters that we grew up loving. And the it's not an ironic situation. This is how destiny talks to us. That on the 100th anniversary of Disney, Marvel and its parent company, Disney, Disney is going to be recording a loss of $1 billion before the year ends. Because if Marvel, even if it performs average, just like Guardians of the Galaxy, it wasn't a flop, it performed average, still it wasn't enough to save from approaching the $1 billion loss mark. So congratulations to Bob Iger and to all those who are signing up for and who are rooting for diversity, inclusion, and equality. Congratulations, because capitalism does not take any prisoners. You either succeed or you fail. You either make a profit or you make a loss. You either go boom or you go bust. And whatever good that was supposed to come out from this project, after years of waiting, I remember my childhood, my teenage years, me and my friends, we used to imagine, what if they made an X-Men movie? How would they show Wolverine's claws? I want to see Wolverine Sabretooth fight. I want to see the adaptation of Captain America in World War II going against Hydra and the Red Skull. All of that aspiration, all of that has now died out. I am returning back to the Marvel age of comics, to the best era of DC Comics. I am going to be reading those books, and I will be reading them again and again as I do. That's why I keep my comic books safe, my graphic novels safe. For me, they are the treasures. I am not going to be wasting 3 hours of my precious life or 2 hours of my precious life just to root for or just to tolerate whatever this woke nonsense, whatever this childish, goofy nonsense that's being thrown out in my way. For those of you who are going to be watching this movie, you are brave enough to do that. Once you've watched my video, please share your comments. Let me know, what do you guys think based on my opinions. And the other thing is that I just want you guys to let me know that how many, first of all, of you are those who have actually read about these characters in comics. Have you read their major stories? Please let me know in the comments. And if you haven't, if you would like me to share with you the best stuff that has been ever produced, then do let me know. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.